What's up? It's Natasha Bryant. I am here again for Unapologetic Living. And today we're going to be talking about the fear within success. There's often conversations about the fear of failing, the fear of not being successful. But what about the fear of maintaining the success? You've already found success. You are successful. But what about the fear within that success? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to escape the fear within success. So as always, like I tell you, grab your notebook, your notepad, your voice memo, your computer, whatever you need to do to type up the notes, because I want you to walk away with the 3 ways that will help you no longer be fearful of succeeding and maintaining that success. Let's go. So when we talk about success, many times we are talking about how to get to the success, right? We don't often talk about, okay, now that we're in the success, all the different fears and anxieties that exist when we are already successful, the pressures that we feel when we already are successful. But one of the things that I'm often hearing from my clients is the overachiever within them, the perfectionism within them that is causing them to feel like they have to go above and beyond, higher and higher and higher. Like nothing's ever enough because I have to always go to the next thing. So even if we reached a goal, or even if they reached a goal at some point in their lives, they're like, okay, I gotta get ready for the next thing. And it's this constant building, and I gotta keep going. But the pressure within all of that, the exhaustion within all of that, is what causes the burnout, and also causes the lack of motivation to even want to keep going, right? You had this drive, you have this passion for it, and then that dies out so quickly because of this expectation that I need to go up higher. I got to keep going. I can't allow myself to go back to where I was. There's so many different areas, right? There's so many different ways or different aspects that our fear within success come from. One is that scarcity, the scarcity mindset. I cannot go back to where I was, right? I can't go back to that way of living, or I can't go back to that life. And the fear of having to go back to that, the fear of not having enough. Or I remember when I did not have enough. I remember when I didn't have enough money, or I didn't have a place to live, or I didn't have enough ... fill in the blank. And the idea of going back to that is so scary that I'm putting pressure to continue to succeed to prevent myself from ever experiencing that again. The fear of not being enough, or not having enough, or not doing enough can cause the fear in success, because it's like I succeeded, and what if I lose it all again? What if I lose it all? I have to go back to that way of living. And then another area that fear lives in is the fear of failing. What if I succeed? I've gotten so high. People are seeing the success within me, and then I fail. I try the next thing and I fail at it, or I don't keep it up and it all falls into pieces. I can't let that happen. Or the fear of just not being enough. What if I do all these things? I reach the success, or I am successful, but I still don't feel like I'm enough. I still feel like I got to keep doing more. People are still wanting more from me. It's still not enough. I reached Mount Everest, right? I climbed it. I made it, and people are still saying, well, you could have done this more, or we still need you for this. And all of that can lead to either you not even wanting to even try to reach that goal, right? Or you may have already reached that goal, but you don't want to continue. You just want to stop right there because the fear of having to face all those other areas that we just discussed, or the fear of what if I had to face all those things, causes you to not move at all, or to just stop moving. What I want to share with you is how to break free from that fear within success, how to allow yourself to enjoy your success, how to allow yourself to be able to set additional goals, new goals, without fear connected to the what ifs. What if I fail? What if I don't have enough? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not enough? where you're able to remove all those things and freely go after what you want unapologetically and fearlessly. So let's talk about the first way to escape fear in success, and that is accepting disappointment. And you may think that you might be thinking like, Natasha, yes, that's me. That is super hard to do. Like, I do not do well with disappointment. I don't do well with mistakes, right? And so I challenge you just to take a moment to think about, why is that? Why do you struggle with facing disappointment? And then the second thing I want you to think about is, how do you try to prevent that disappointment? And does that connect with perfectionism? One of the ways that we try to prevent disappointment, instead of accepting that it's something that happens or that it is happening or it did happen, right? We try to prevent it, or we keep trying to push this thing to work that has already been defined that it's not going to work. If I do all the things right, if I show up perfectly, then I will not be disappointed because things are going to work out, because I have this plan and this plan works out perfectly. If I show up perfectly, if I do it perfectly, then there will be no disappointment because there'll be no failure within it. But the pressure that it causes you to show up in a way that is not realistic, like, you're human, you're going to make mistakes. And also, when we are achieving new goals, we're going after new goals, many times we're going into new territory. So in order for you to do things perfectly, or to try to do things perfectly, you need to know all the ins and outs to prevent the unwanted outcomes. But again, you don't know what's going to happen. So there can be some things that pop up that you weren't even aware of, but you need to have some familiarity of it. But when it comes to trying new things and going after new levels, this is a new territory. So you're going to make mistakes because you've never done it before. You don't have the knowledge or the information about the ins and outs of it all. So mistakes are going to happen. But when you tell yourself, that's not allowed. I'm not the one that makes mistakes. Somebody else might make the mistakes, but I'm not the one that makes the mistakes. Then you are going to burn yourself out, or cause yourself to avoid, hesitate, procrastinate when it comes to actually going after that thing. Acceptance allows you to freely and boldly go after that new level or that success that you're looking for, without the worry of, what if it doesn't work out? Now, I'm not saying that worry doesn't exist. The worry still exists, but it's not strong to the point where you're putting all this pressure on yourself to prevent it from happening. You recognize, you know what? I don't want this to happen. Like, I want it to all work out. Of course, I'm passionate about this. I want it to go well. But if it doesn't go well, it's okay. I can bounce back. I can be able to figure things out, or I can do plan B or plan C, right? It is okay. I want you to write that down. It is okay. That mantra, that phrase right there, is what's going to save you and free you from the fear of disappointment. You telling yourself, it is okay if, even in my success, things don't work out and I end up getting a curveball and I have to go in a different direction. It is okay. I'll figure it out. It is okay that even after I succeed, I then fail. It is okay because I will be able to bounce back. Also, with acceptance, you allow yourself to let go of the things you have no control over. By telling yourself it's okay, by accepting disappointment, you recognize, okay, I can't change it. This is what it is. You might have plans for a new level of your success, and the resources that you need are not available for you to actually do it. The people that you need to help you with that are not available. And you have to accept that and go in a different direction. This is the thing. The only way you can go in a different direction, though, is if you accept that the initial direction you had in mind is no longer available. If you are fixated on making your initial plan work and not accepting that it's not available, you will be stuck. Because you're trying to fix and change something that is no longer available, and you have no power to fix and change. But you do have power on redirecting yourself. So again, accepting disappointment, accepting mistakes, That is one way to get rid of that fear within success. And the second thing that will help you escape the fear of success or within success is setting realistic expectations. If you're a high achiever, you already know. You already know what it's like to have these rules or mandates for yourself that are unattainable and that cause the pressure to even try to make them attainable even though they're not. When your expectations are not realistic, you are setting yourself up for failure. It is a form of self-sabotage because what you're saying to yourself is that, oh, I have to make this work. I have to abide by this expectation. I have to exceed and or meet this goal, even if it's not attainable. And so you're going to keep chasing after it and you're going to find yourself falling short, which then is going to cause you to feel like you're the problem. I must be doing something wrong. I must be failing, or I must not be enough. When really, it's the expectation is not realistic. And it was never something you could achieve in the first place. And not even your own expectations, but even the expectations of others, recognizing the expectations people are putting onto you, are they even realistic? And should you be adhering to them? Should you really be trying to reach this expectation that, one, is beyond your capacity, and two, doesn't even connect with where you're trying to go? Sometimes we add these expectations because of what we think we should be doing, right? Not what we actually want to do. And so is it realistic? Is it realistic in the sense of it's meaningful to you? Realistic also means that this is something that I actually want to do. It's realistic based on my values, my belief system, the direction I'm trying to go in. So not only is it realistic in being able to attain and achieve it, but also realistic in it meaning something to you. When you set realistic expectations, you then are giving yourself the capacity to reach the goal you're trying to reach. And you're giving yourself the opportunity to grow. When you set unrealistic expectations, there's no growth in there because it's not something that you can even achieve. And so you're constantly pushing yourself for perfection. You're constantly pushing yourself to achieve something. And you're so focused on trying to achieve it. You're on this hamster wheel of trying to achieve it, but that there's no growth. There's no moments where you're looking back at yourself and figuring out or wondering or learning yourself because you're so focused. I got to reach this goal. I got to reach this goal. I got to go above and beyond. That's what your focus is on. And you don't even allow yourself to appreciate, enjoy the journey, those moments that you're learning throughout the process. So set realistic expectations. And that doesn't mean, some people get it confused. Like, well, what's realistic? Because I think this is a low bar. No. We're not saying set expectations that are below your capacity, below your skill level. You definitely want to push yourself. You definitely want to challenge yourself. But you don't want to exceed your limits, exceed your capacity. And you want to make sure that it's aligned with what you actually want to do. It would be really hard to be successful in something that does not mean anything to you. And that goes into the third way to escape the fear within success is create your own path. Fear and success can happen when you are looking at what everybody else is doing. And maybe you reached a goal, you succeeded, right? And now you've seen what everybody else has done next. And you're looking at that and you're like, I don't even know if I can do that. I don't even know if I even want to do that, right? But you're like, well, that's what people do. You start here and then you go there. So that's what I should be doing, right? And then so you then start following this path that's not aligned with what you want. And then you feel unfulfilled while you're doing it. You might not even be finding success anymore because it's not working out for you the way it worked out for somebody else. And it's all because that wasn't your journey. That was not your path. That was that other person's journey and that other person's path. But when you create your own path, if you're like, this is where I'm stopping, or this is as far as I'm going, or I'm actually going to make this right. I know everybody makes a left or go straight, but I'm going to make a right, right? And you're okay with that. You create your own path. The success will continue because now there's a level of motivation. You know your why and why I'm doing this, and you don't care. You're unapologetic about what other people think about it. I was watching the latest documentary Michelle Obama did with Oprah when Oprah was interviewing her about her latest book. And Oprah asked her the question, or really asked her to tell the people why she doesn't want to go into politics. Because that's always the question. Like, Michelle, when are you going to go into politics? And she always says she's not going into it. So Oprah said, I want to give you the platform to tell people why this is not something you want to do, right? And so Michelle said, when did I ever express interest in politics? Like, when did I ever talk about that's a passion of mine? I love politics. When did I ever talk about that? She said, I went into politics, or not, she actually didn't go into politics. I allowed myself to support my husband going into politics. I supported my husband's dream to go into politics, and he's great at it. But that was never my dream to go into politics. So then she asked the question, so is this really, do people even care about what I want? Or are people more worried and concerned about what they want, what they think is best for me? Create your own path. That's a perfect example of Michelle creating her own path. Yes, I know I was successful at being the first lady. And I was successful at passing different policies and programs in the political realm of the White House. Yes, I succeeded at that. But my next level of success is not continuing in that realm. My next level of success is doing it in other sectors, in other ways of helping girls in different ways, not in the political realm. Creating her own path. And so sometimes within success, that pressure, where people are telling you, well, you should be doing this next, or, oh my goodness, you succeeded in that. You were so good at it. You should do this next. And you're just like, I don't really want to do that. And then that causes the fear. Should I be doing this? Maybe I should be doing that. Or that is where the money is, so maybe I should go in that direction. And now you're having this fear of succeeding because I feel this pressure that I got to go in this direction to continue the success. Or will people still follow me? Will people still support me if I don't go in that direction? People supported me as I successfully reached this goal, but are they still going to support me if I go in a different direction? That fear, that what if, so what's going to happen next if I don't do that? But when you are unapologetic about it and you're like, no, that's not my dream. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to create my own path. I'm going to do what's best for me. I understand you think I'll be great in this area, or I understand you think my business would increase or gain more profit if I go in this direction, but that's not what I want to do. And sometimes you end up losing your initial passion, right? You go into something, you reach that success with this initial goal or passion or purpose within it. And then the more successful you become, the more opinions you hear, the different expectations that are being put on you, you end up going away from that path and going onto the path that other people are saying you should go on. And now you're moving away from your initial purpose, your initial passion, and then you no longer have the desire to even continue. It's no longer an interest of yours. It's no longer a love or a passion project for you. It's now like, it feels like work now, right? But when you stay on your own path, you never lose it. So when we're talking about the fear and success, I mean, it can happen for so many different reasons. And a lot of times it causes us to freeze where we, you know what, I don't even want to do it anymore. I don't want to continue to be successful. It's too much. Or we end up pushing ourselves to keep going. I can't stop now. I got to keep going. And then we burn ourselves out because the fear of, again, the scarcity, going back to the way life was before the success, or the fear of not being enough. I got to keep going so people can still see that I deserve to be here, that I deserve to be at this table, that I deserve to have this success. The fear of failing. I already succeeded once. How stupid or crazy will I look if I now fail after succeeding? But when you allow yourself to accept disappointment within the failures, within the mistakes, when you set realistic expectations, and making sure those expectations align with what you truly want to do, what's meaningful to you. And when you create your own path, even if those fears come up, the fear of scarcity, the fear of not being enough, the fear of failing, even if those fears come up, you will be able to fight through those fears and keep going. If you are someone that is like, Natasha, this is great, and I want to work with you or learn more about how to be able to overcome this fear, how to be able to overcome that fear and doubt so I can reach my goals, or once I reach my goals, I continue to keep going and not get fearful of success, right? Then you want to sign up for my free 5-day mini course, which is all about how to help you get unstuck and achieve your goals and go after your goals. And if you click the link in the show notes, you'll be able to get access to that. I will send you tips each day for 5 days that will help you get unstuck, get past that fear, so that you can finally live your best life as your best self. Also, check out my website for additional information about the services I provide. I also have a membership, Unapologetic Living, the Unapologetic Circle, which is all about unapologetic living. It's for women, and it's all about helping women free themselves from anyone or anything that is blocking them, that's preventing them from living their best life as their best selves, so they can start going after their dreams and or keep going after their dreams if they're already there. So if you want more information about that, again, click the link in the show notes that talks about the Unapologetic Circle. It's a membership, a monthly membership where you'll meet with me for group coaching sessions. You'll have access to webinar replays. You'll have access to accountability check-ins, monthly check-ins. I mean, it's filled with so many great gems, and so you can get that information as well. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Speak Life Transformation, Facebook on Living Speak Life. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it. And until I see you again, make sure you be safe, be bold, and speak life.